Okay, hello, hello. Hopefully everything's on. Hey, Alan Cole. This must be the one. Yeah, this is the one. Finally. Sometimes it goes live right away, and other times it's stupid. Like today. This is the third try. You're number one on the blue crown too, or the purple crown. Buckskin NYB. Harley's here. Yeah. Here we go, says Alan Cole. Roy Johnson is here. Hello, hello. Let's move this back. Yeah. Heyo. Jermaine is here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chat the first hour and then nap the second hour. Yeah. Whether you like it or not, that's the new format. But I'm sure you'll like it because you're very cooperative. Ken is here. Hey, Pat, just finished some errands and picked up some glass. A couple of blue bottles from thrift store, a green and brown from liquor store, and back home to watch your live. Perfect plan. Bill Hansen is here. Jesse Para is here. Hello, hello. Mac Bales is here. Howdy do. Don't forget to smash the like button, says Alan. Ken says, hope everyone's having a good day. So I'm going to read the chat in the first hour mainly, right? Oops, not supposed to show the address. I'm going to do the chat for the first hour mostly, and then I'll nap the second hour. Let's see some sweet Brooks and Bifaces in the auction. Yes, there is. And Marty, I'm going to send you a box of black butter. Okay, I sent you an email to show you the picture. Mike Tufts is here. Hello, hello. This is from you, Mike. This is your box that you sent me. I got to open it live. You don't care if everybody knows where you live? I can't do that to you. No, because then, you'll have to walk on eggshells for the rest of your life. Roy says, that's cool to be able to talk to everyone. Hope all are fine. Oh, yes, everyone's fine. Well, as far as I can see, around here anyway, everyone's fine around here. Bill says, hey, Mac, got some cool shoes like yours. Yeah, I got a goodie box from Mike Tufts today. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Okay, let's see. Yes, I did get it. All right, so let's open this up. I'm excited to see this because that's what I'll be probably napping that big old obsidian boulder with. Yeah, what I'm going to try to do is catch up on my back orders for the next 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe the entire next month, and not do too many videos except for the live streams. Believe it or not, if I've got to do a video, like a regular video, I hardly get anything else done during the day. I can cram it all in, but then my video performance is not that good because I usually wait until later on to do my video. So what do we got? We got well-packaged little tidbits. Oh, what is it? What is the weight on this one? I don't know. But he's got these little grip lines. These are actually milled into the wood. That's not just ink. Yeah. Should be the boppers, yeah. Well, you send something else too? Dang. Too many Christmas gifts. Oh, yes. This feels like I'm going to be using it a lot. Oh, yeah. You were going to send a hammer too, but I don't see the hammer. Okay. So I thought the hammer was in this one. Anyways. So Mike Tufts is going to send me a hammer as well. All right. Yeah. This should be the boppers. So this is going to be fun. and they're beefier. Yeah. See, the other ones, what did I do? I beat them up. See, I beat this one up pretty good. This is the new one. It's got a little bit beefier handle and probably a different way to connect it. I don't know. Let's see. Where's the other one that I ruined? You say that like you like doing it. Well, I don't hold back. Let's just say that on my tools, and I don't care if they get all ruined. So there's that. But I do feel bad that I ruined something that someone took a long time to make. Okay, let's see here. Marty says, I'm headed to the lake to collect more Knife River Flint for you and Jim Cooper. Sweet. Everyone likes seeing that stuff. So if you guys get excited, I get excited. Yeah. Let's see. Ken says, it's 26 Celsius here in British Columbia. I'm cooking. I don't know what it is here as far as Celsius or centigrade. Let's see. Mike Tufts, I burned those lines with a copper wire to get the black. Oh, you did? On the inside? Okay, I got you. Sweet. Now we know your secrets. You can't be doing that. One is brass and one is copper, or just the lighting? It's just the lighting, yeah. It looks like that might be brass, but they're both copper. Yeah. It's not the lighting, it's just it looks that way. Maybe the heat somehow got exposed to heat, when you put in the lead, you had to heat this up. Okay, so Mike just mailed out this morning the hammer and the large bopper. Okay, good. Red-Eyed Patriots here, our moderator. Boy, that big white point should do well in the auction. She's a beauty. Yeah. I like that one. Yeah. I like them better when I don't have any pressure to do it on video. Yeah. I did that one. I spent like 2.5 hours on it yesterday. Yeah. Marty says, awesome. Sounds good, Jim. I'll send you some photos from today's load. Nice. Killer Cork is here. Oh, yeah, it's crafty time. Hey, Pat and the gang. Hello. Yes, a Knife River is sweet. Yep, people like it. Alan Cole says 95 degrees here. What is it here? Let's see. Let me see. What is it here? Oh, I'm going to get another new phone tomorrow. So Wednesday, I should be up and running. Polio Lit called me today from Poland, and my stupid phone doesn't work with the microphone. And if I plug in an external microphone, I can't hear the person. So, they can hear me once I plug it in, but so stupid. This phone up here that I'm filming the live stream with, it's my old phone. I need to get a new one. This is my second phone that I got because of issues with my first phone, but it still doesn't fix all my issues. Yeah. I don't want to put all my apps on the new phone that I have on my old phone. Yeah, because I don't want both of them going off at the same time, giving me messages or notices. All right. Ken says, not sure if you saw, Pat. Would you ship to Canada? Yes, I will. I'd like to get in on the auctions. Yeah, no problem. Canada is one of the easy ones to ship to. Yeah. And I'm not going to bad talk anybody or any country, but there's some countries that charge, duties. They charge duties. Duties on the packages. To get them shipped into the country, I got to pay a duty. Yeah. Talk about duty. And that kind of thing. But yeah, Canada is one of the easiest ones because I can just ship first class international, and they know exactly The post office is very familiar with Canadian addresses, so there's no like, what does that say? You sure? Or they have to take forever to type some addresses in different languages. You know, it looks like a different. I mean, luckily they don't have a problem with the keyboard symbols, but there's sometimes where the guy or the gal at the post office is going, I don't know if this is gonna be good. I don't know if it's right. And I said, well, I look it up on Google and I cross check it and I make sure that it's actually on a Google map with that address, and it can be looked up that way if I type it in that way. So, and they go, oh, okay, all right. So I guess it'll work. So strange and funny. But with Canadian addresses, no big deal. And Netherlands is no big deal. Denmark's no big deal. UK is no big deal. Any English speaking or Northern European countries, pretty good. Yeah. Anyway, let's see here. Bushy's here. Ferdo Joe. Oh, this cap came from China, he said Mike. Jim Cooper's here. Besides family, my stone of the week isn't a napping stone. I was sifting gravels for sapphires and got some real buttes. Oh, dang. Kidder Cork says 82 degrees here, but had some hot ones lately up in the 90s. Oh, yeah, I was going to check the temperature before I crudely interrupted myself. All right, where's the weather? Okay, it's 87 here now. Yep. 87, and it's going to be in the 80s all week, pretty much. Yeah, 80 to 87 or 89. Tomorrow's 89, supposed to be. Yeah, but when it's in the 80s here, so is the humidity. Yeah. Let's see. What's the humidity? Oh, okay, so it's not bad. 45% today. That's better than usual. Roy says tariff fees through customs, Pat. Yeah, but they're charging me, not the person picking up the package. Yeah, so I got to pay extra at the post office for some countries. So they're charging me a duty. Yeah. I know what tariffs are and that kind of stuff. But it's different from duties. Let's see. Everyone says hi. Yeah, say hi to everybody. Everybody say hi to everybody. Yeah. Let's see. Jim Cooper says, I could take some shorts, but I'm not really looking to get internet famous. I have started making videos a long time ago. Oh, I would have started making videos a long time ago if that was the case. Yeah. I don't like short videos, although I've done some, but yeah, I just don't like the format. Mike says, weird thing. I'm setting up a box for you, Mike. It's the exact same as Patrick's. There you go. Scott Lauer's here from the UK. Hey, chippers. Let's see. Hey, Sal's in the house. Blades and Points by SGP. That is Sal. Hey. Mike Mason is here. Okay. Jim says, if y'all want to see, I could send Patrick a photo or two of his phone issues once the phone issues are dealt with. Okay, yeah. Ralph Snyder's here. Hello. Mike, those boppers are really refined. Looks great, says Jesse. Yes. Roy Johnson, hello, my fellow nappers. Scott Lauer, it's cooking here. It's good morning, Vietnam hot. Damn hot. Dang. The temperatures overnight here are pretty good, though. It's like 80s during the day, but tonight's going to be 69 degrees. Last night it was 57 degrees. Yeah, it was good. And then tomorrow night, overnight, 65 degrees. It gets into the 50s and 60s here at night, which is good. I don't have to run the AC all night. Ellen says, I received the auction win today, the Obsidian Scottsbluff. It's awesome. Cool. So, yeah. Well, it took a while, didn't it? I'm surprised. A lot of stuff that I send out gets to the destination by Saturday, but I guess they're slower these days. I've noticed that a lot of people are getting their packages on Monday instead of Saturday. Let's see here. Mr. Crazy is here. Don't forget to like the live. Yeah, like the live stream. 34 people. Let's hit the like buttons. Ken says, I made it home. Time to relax and chill with y'all. Good. Yeah. Get some tea. Get some iced tea and sit and relax. Right? Who's watching on TV? Oh yeah, if you're new, let us know where you are because we'll go bug you. Yeah, we'll drag you. We'll drag you on. Drag you out to a nap-in. I was gonna think, what did they used to do with sailors? They would kidnap men and bring them on board ships and Shanghai them or something like that, right? To enlist them in the Navy. Yeah. Let us know where you are so we can Shanghai you. Jim says, high 80s here. I melt at 75, so no outside for me until late in the evening. Yeah, same with me. But I've gotten used to it pretty much. For short periods of time, I can be out in my shop. Like earlier today, it was like 95 in the shop. But once it gets close to 90 and above, it get in the shop, it's like 10 degrees hotter, or sometimes even 15 degrees hotter, depending on the intensity of the sun. So most of the summer, the shop is over 100 degrees in there. But I'm going to build another shop. This time I'm going to insulate the roof. This one's just a plastic shed. There's no insulation to keep the heat out. Yeah, so if anybody has links that they want to post in the chat, just say it. And then Michael or Red Eyed Patriot can put the links in for you. Like if you have a channel or a website. Shameless plug time. The comment section is for you to shamelessly plug yourself if you want. Yeah. Oh, and I just ordered some rock from Ukraine. Mm-hmm. We'll see how that works out. Yes, they do have flint in Ukraine, I found out. We'll see how that goes. And I'll probably order some rock from Poland as well. Once I talk to Poliolit. He should be in the chat today. Hopefully. So, okay, Killer Court just figured out the emojis. Let's see. Jim says, I'll see if I can re-find the video, Patrick, but I got wind of another nap-in in southern Idaho, so I'll send the info to go along with that Arizona nap-in data. Okay, cool. I lost the Arizona data, although, let me see. Yeah, I need to, I got the one from Washington. I got another one from Washington and Oregon. Yeah, I lost I wrote down the Arizona and I wrote down, or maybe I forgot to write down the Canada nap-in. Let me get my marker so I can make sure I write at least a note to myself. I need to write a note to myself to write down another note on the nap-ins. Yeah. ADHD is a biatch. All right, so let's see. Jim Cooper, right, is the one. You are the one that gives me all this good info. Yeah. Arizona nap-in. And then there's one in southern Idaho. Come on, chat. Come on. Don't do this to me. Yeah, southern Idaho. Okay, so I wrote a note so I can write another note. Yeah. Okay, so that's cool. At least I have them there. I can bug you by email now. So now that I know who's sending me the info. And I gotta find the Canadian Knapping information. I think it's in Vancouver, but I gotta find it. Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, look up info on the Canadian Knapping again. I think it's in my email. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, it hasn't passed yet. There's a lot of Knappings are in April and May before it gets too hot in summer. Before before the shake and bake. All right. What I try to do on my messages is I take a screenshot of the Knapping flyers that people send me and Knapping information. So I need to look at my screenshots. Do I have them in here? No, I've got a separate gallery here on this phone. It doesn't include my Knapping screenshots. Yeah. Okay. It's midnight and it's 74 degrees in the UK, says Scott. That's perfect. My prayers go out to Ukraine, says Bushy. Yeah. War is something terrible for sure. But yeah, apparently the war hasn't affected the Flint, which is good. Yeah, did Patrick just say biatch? Yes, I did. I couldn't figure out what else to say. How are the babies? Says Ed Gould. I don't know. They didn't show back up. And nobody showed up except two skunks last night. Mangy Tail and Muddy. Those two showed up. Nobody else showed up last night. And there's another skunk with just one baby in tow. So she walks around with just one baby. And Jumpy's nowhere to be found with her 6 babies. Up and disappeared. I haven't seen her in like 4 days. Somebody else might be feeding them or adopted the whole family because, little baby skunks are kind of tame. So you can actually, enjoy them without worrying about being sprayed. I don't know what age they are before they start spraying. So I didn't go and introduce myself. I just watched them. Perry Goes Ken says, there's Vancouver Knapping. I'm there. If there is, I'm there. Please let me know. Yeah, I think there is a Vancouver Knapping. I just need to find it again, and I can't do it now that I remember or that I'm reminded on the live stream. I can't use my normal phone because it's filming the live stream, and I don't know how YouTube managed to commandeer my phone, but apparently I can't use anything else to film these live streams except that phone, and that's where I have all my access to all my messages. I don't want to put all my message apps on my other phone because then I'll have both of them doing the notifications. I hate notifications. Well, I don't hate them. They just bug me right when I least need to be bugged. Yeah. You guys are funny. Mm-hmm. British Columbia, says Roy. Okay, it's not Vancouver. Sorry. Right? Okay. BC. Well, Vancouver's a city, right? So British Columbia. Let's see. Alan says, Sal, Mike almost gave himself an injury lifting the box. I hope he didn't have an issue. What is that concerning? All right, so here we go. Let's see. Here I'm going to the end of the chat. So what did I miss? Ken says, I need to make a flaker pad unless you guys know a nap shop that ships to Canada. Flaker pad. I mean, a lot of us do ship to Canada. I don't know if Mike, do you ship to Canada? See, a package, a regular size box that's isn't too heavy, it costs like $27 to send to Canada. And a lot of guys, they don't want to pay the fee. Me, my shipping expenses are write-offs. And sometimes when I ship, it's only like $5.50, depending on where you are and how heavy the packages are. This is not the Canada, but this is in general. The most expensive stuff is, of course, the international stuff, but the local stuff is pretty cheap. With a small, lightweight package, it can be as cheap as $5.50 for me. So all of that is a business write-off. So I'll pay the shipping to Canada. Of course, I do charge a slight fee, but I'll charge $10 on a $26 box. So you're saving $16 or whatever. And this is for the auction, but anything else, the same thing. Yeah. Just to let you know, because some people have no idea how much it costs to ship something. Yeah. The same box to like Spain costs like $40 something, as an example. So it varies by country. Mm-hmm. Bushy says, I live near a tannery. A whole hide is $20 at the June sale. Oh, dang, that's pretty good. That's cheap. Mm-hmm. Alan says, smoke them if you got them. Ken says, I like pipe tobacco. Yeah, I get hooked on pipe tobacco. I can't do that. Too much. I do it, but not too much. Brennan is here. Howdy. Sal says, I'll be doing an unboxing video from Awesome Alan Cole soon. Yes, cool. Bren says, I'm sorry I'm late. I had to see a dude about a pony. But you're here now. Yes. Mike says, well, if you can ship the Canada, I can ship to Canada. Yeah. It's not that hard. The post office knows. Just make sure you use first class international at the post office. But you can ship other, FedEx. FedEx is highly expensive, though. Highly expensive. UPS. But USPS, or U.S. Post Office, or Postal Service, U.S. Postal Service, is the cheapest to send internationally, first class. Let's see. Mike says, so I'm making a flaker pad. In the process, I'm going to use turtle hide, domed wood, and maybe some tire scraps. Anyone want to stop me from making mistakes or throw a pointer at me? I'm open. Hit me. Do you have a shop, Mike, where I can see your stuff? Yeah, Mike has videos on some of the stuff that he makes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can do some tool talk in the chat. Let's see. Sal says, Mike M, that sounds too fancy for me to help. Yeah, I'm low tech as well. I just use wood and leather for my pads. Although Mike Tufts has been making all my pads lately. Yeah. See, I don't got nothing else except Mike Tufts pads nowadays. and I've been using the slotted one. I hardly ever used to use slotted pads. I'm starting to get used to it. Yeah, I'll just use a domed pad. Although I need to dome it the other way too. Where's my other pad? Oh yeah, I sold my other pad in a box of knapping tools in one of the auctions. But I have others of that type. I just need to go get them. Yeah. Let's see. Mike says, I don't have a website or a store. My tools are sold on Danny Collins' website, but I don't mind at all to make things for you guys here. There you go. Mike Mason says, I'll show it off when done. Cool, cool. Bushy says, my pads are thick leather and some are folded over. Alrighty. Ken says, let's see, perfect. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, if you have a channel, let people know. And then Michael, Red-Eyed Patriot, might be able to post a link. Like I said earlier, it's time for shameless plugs. If you want to advertise your channel or your website or your, Instagram profile or something, go ahead and do it. Now you can do it now, but just mention it in the chat. That way, Mike, Red-Eyed Patriot, can look it up and post it, because that's what moderators can do. Apparently, I might be able to do it too. I might be able to type it in, because I can type in stuff at the chat in the chat. Do I have something that I could type in? I could try that and see if it works. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see here. Okay, this doesn't have the full address. What can I do? I'm thinking that I don't have an address written out. I was going to try the experiment and type in a website, www. whatever, or HTTPS. I need to find one so I can see if I can type in these things. If I can type them in and I haven't been doing it, that'd be terrible. No, Red-Eyed Patriot should be in the chat today, although I don't see him. He showed up a little bit ago. Let's see. Scott Lauer said, David got that bullhead to you just over 30 pounds from here. Very cheap, and it got to you. Yep, it sure did. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Yeah, REP is here somewhere. You should be able to just search my name, said Mike Mason. I need to upgrade my knapping pads. I used to wrap leather over pink school erasers for my pads, says Ralph. Roy says, I can show you, but I don't know how to show you my tools and where I nap. Yeah, you can't post photos on the chat, apparently. Let's see. Prairie Ghost Ken, your music is awesome and great for napping, says Bushy. I need to look up some of these channels. Tommy Taylor's here. Hello, hello. Ken asks, do you guys have a preferred way to break a bottle? Water half filled or drill bit? To break off the bottom of a bottle, well, my default way is just to wrap the bottle in a towel and then smash it with a hammer, and the bottom usually stays intact. But you can do the mallet on the top of the bottle. You fill it like 90% of the way. You just leave about an inch of air at the top. The rest filled with water. And then you hold the neck of the bottle and you smack it with a mallet, plastic or rubber mallet, so it doesn't shatter the glass and cut your hand, and the bottom pops off because of the change in the there's some kind of weird change in the pressure when you smack it. The water will move, right, and then when it goes back down the other way, it pops the bottom off. So those are my two preferred ways. You just wrap it in a towel and smash it with a sledgehammer. The reason why I wrap it is so the glass won't get everywhere. Or you use the water in there, 90% full, and hit the top with a mallet. Or you can use a hand too if you got a tough hand. Let's see here. Yeah, I used to use a nail with shake the bottle with a nail in it, and it pops the bottom off eventually. But with my luck, half the time the nail just pops through on the bottom. It doesn't pop the bottom off, but the nail pops through. Styly Designs is here. Mm-hmm. Jim says, that's why I push Discord so much. It has options to post all this stuff. Yeah. Discord. But it's not as exciting as YouTube. Mm-hmm. Killer Cork says, yeah, Ken, Patrick has a video showing he cuts the bottle bottoms, glass cutter, and the pliers. Yeah, once you cut a bottle bottom, you can trim all the nasty glass off around the outside and just leave yourself that nice disc, and then you can score the disc and snap it in half with those pliers, glass cutting pliers. So you buy the glass cutter and then the pliers in a set. You can buy them together, and it'll help you first divide the bottle bottom in half, and then you can divide it into quarters or whatever after that if you want. But I prefer just to work with halves instead of the whole bottle bottom for one arrowhead. I cut it in half with the combination of the cutter and pliers, and then it's more efficient that way. I get twice as many opportunities. I don't need to wear my glasses for this. Let me see. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see what I need to get to the end of the chat here. Jim says, I know Carly Rabbit. She lives about 3 hours from me. Awesome. Mike says, yeah, I tried to tell you about it. Let's see here. Mike says, Okay, you guys are talking to each other. I'm looking for questions. If you have questions, guys, ask now before I start napping. I got 20 more minutes before I'm going to start napping. Ed Gould is here. Let's see. I knocked the bottom off a long neck bud on the back of my head. It was 90% full too. But that is not the way to do it. Ken says, I have a bunch of pickle jars. I was having a hard time breaking the bottoms free. Just smash the whole thing with a hammer. Yeah. Woodpecker lips tough. Palm strikes on them wine bottles. Yeah, the wine bottles are much harder to remove the bottoms. Yep. Let's see. REP says he pops them with a drill bit. Oh, yeah. Put a drill bit inside the bottle and then shake it up. Yeah. Ralph says, Scott, my boppers are steel gas pipe with caps on the ends. I unscrew one cap and store pressure flaker tips inside. Well, there you go. Except the bopper, does that rattle around inside the pipe, those pressure flaker tips? You probably wrap the pressure flaker tips in some sort of rags or something, and then stick them in the pipe, right? Ed Gould says, yeah, I went to the hospital and had 60 stitches on my face and then we went to jail. That's not the way to remove the bottle bottom from the bottle. Mike Mason says, my channel has a short video on the water method. Hey, Ron is here. I'm traveling New Mexico, and I seen a sign that said Folsom. There you go. I think that's where Folsom Prison is. Ask for Coroner. Jared's here. Hi, yo. Bill Hansen's here. Pat, you find any black shirt yet? Yes, I did. And it's coming in the mail. I've had to spend my money on it. My very own money. But if you know me, I usually prioritize my kids and I save money for them. It's got to be a really good reason if I spend money on myself. And I could not find any black shirt anywhere that was of the suitable quality and color, so I had to spend money. But I had to make sure one of my daughter's birthday's coming up, so I had to make sure that I didn't interfere with that. But no, I've got it coming. I've got some black shirt coming. And I've got Clovis's, two Clovis's to make with that and a bunch of other stuff. That's on my lists, or on my list of things to make. AA Ron says, I went to the museum and it was closed. Dang it. Let's see. Ralph says, what works best with steel cap boppers? What works best? I don't know. You mean what kind of stone? Mike Mason says, I have a weird idea for that, Jesse. I'll try to do a short about it. It's only a mental exercise at the moment. Okay. Jesse has a question. Okay. Jesse asks, Patrick, when making a thin ground abo notcher out of antler, the skinny narrow part keeps snapping off. Any ideas? You didn't mention that kind of antler. Use elk antler if you can to make pressure flaking tips. Don't use bone, or don't use moose antler. Don't use anything really brittle. Elk antler, the hard part, the inside of the elk antler is very pithy and weak, but the skin of the antler, or the rind of the elk antler, is very good for pressure flakers. It holds up well. The only other thing I can tell you is that I've heard some guys soak the antlers in super glue. You just drop the antler tip in super glue and leave it in there overnight. Take the antler out after the antler has absorbed all that super glue, and then set it out to dry for a couple of days. That seems to harden up the antler a lot, they say. I've never tried it, but it sounds like it works. So use super glue on the antler, soaked in super glue. Other than that, just use elk antler. What are you guys talking about? I just dropped them in and don't mind the noise or extra weight. Oh, I see. When you store your tools inside the pipe boppers, the extra noise doesn't bug you. Okay, that works. Ralph says, what kind of black shirt? You'll see. Let's see. Blades and Points by SG. Sal says, I was shopping at Walmart for black shirt, but didn't have any. See, I don't know exactly what kind of shirt it is. It's just black, and it naps, and it's black, and it's actually flint because it formed in chalk. So I'm going to get some black flint. What kind it is, what's it called, I don't know. I just said, I want it. I want that. Okay. And don't even tell me what it is because I'll probably get it wrong, or we're probably wrong. Someone will go out and look for it. You said it was this and this and this, and I looked for it online, and they told me that that's found at this particular spot in the U.S. or in Europe or whatever. And I went, and it wasn't there. It wasn't there. I don't want that to happen. Has that happened before? I don't know. Let's see. Ken says 4 millimeter diameter, 300 millimeter length copper rods. 4 millimeter diameter, just a little bit thicker than the coat hanger, maybe. I think they'll work. I might have to attach them to a stick. 4 millimeter seems a little bit too small. That's like 1/8 of an inch, right? A little bit more than 1/8 of an inch. I suppose it'd be all right. But I would go thicker than 4 millimeter. Okay, so Jesse's going to try the outside of the elk antlers. Yeah. Bill Hansen says he can send a chunk. All right, I lost track of what that. Oh, will Coshocton work? Yeah, Coshocton will work if it's black. Yes, that will work. I will try that. Yeah, sometimes you can find primo rocks for knapping and landscaping stones in various locations. Just don't do it. Just look at it and go, see, flint is so plentiful in some areas that they use it for landscaping stone, and you fake crying. Yeah. Why do you do that? Just to give people a reason to call you weird. Okay, if they're gonna call you weird, give them a reason. Yeah. Let's see here. Roy says I use whitetail antler and it works okay for me. Yeah, whitetail usually works for the flint knapping tools, especially for pressure flakers and stuff. Zaleski chert from Ohio is a glossy, beautiful black chert. Well, dang it. No one carries it, though. That's the first time I've heard of that name. Zaleski chert. Never heard of it. I lost that chunk of chert that, Jay Valente sent me. I looked all day, a couple of days ago for that chert. I got his box somewhere in my stuff. Maybe I put it here in my shipping stuff. I know I didn't dream it. He sent it to me. Because, we have black chert here in Vermont. It's just hard to get. It's all on private property or on land that you can't take it from. Sanctuaries. There's a lot of wildlife sanctuaries here in Vermont. And there's chert and stuff knappable on those sanctuaries, but you can't take any of the rocks out of there. Jared says the kind that doesn't call shotgun then gets bent out of shape when they don't get their preferred seat on public transport. What are you talking about? Let's see. Okay, I'm going to start napping pretty soon. Let's see. Peter Cohn says you can find the landscape supply place that sells those stones. Yeah. A lot of times, if you look online for landscape supply, you can figure out where they get them. Or if you see a construction going on and they've got landscaping and the construction guys are still there, if you're not shy, you can go up and ask, where did you get that landscaping stone? I need a landscaping stone. They may or may not tell you. Sometimes they don't know. They go, I've had him tell me, I don't know, it's in the specs. You know, you gotta talk to the specs guy. Where's the specs guy? I don't know. We see him like, you know, once in the beginning of the project, and he's bye bye. He just tells us where to put it. That's it. So sometimes they don't know, but it's usually local stuff. Mac Bales. Mac says, I've got some Coshocton. I'll send you some. What size points do you need to make? Okay, let's see. The Clovises are 4-inch, but the other points vary. But the thing is, a lot of these projects, it's the opposite. I don't have a spec to begin with. They get what I can get. So if I can get a 9-inch long piece of rock, then they might get a 7-inch blade. But if I can only get a 3-inch piece of rock, they're only going to get a 2.5-inch blade. So whatever I can get is what I provide for them. So whatever you got, as far as Coshocton goes, it doesn't really matter because they get what I get. I've told them whenever I have a project on the side, I say I can't make it to spec. What I can do is whatever size stone I get and whatever comes out of that is what you get. Okay? I don't promise you a certain size and then spend the next 6 months spending hundreds of dollars trying to get that size and then breaking a bunch of them and then finally getting you your piece after many, many hours and many, many dollars and many, many frustrating days. You'll get your stuff. No, it's the other way. I do it the other way. I make stuff at random, and whatever fits the stone that I've got to work with is what I send out. Yeah. I used to make everything to spec until I almost went literally insane. Yeah. So any size that you can cram into the boxes that doesn't cost you all that much money is perfect. Yeah. Any size. What size? Yes. That's the answer. What size? Yes. That's the answer. Let's see. Super glue and baking soda would probably work. Yeah. Have you seen those videos where they guys make stuff out of baking soda and super glue? I think that's funny. I've never tried it, but it seems to be like concrete once it's dry. Mike says, I'm so ready to face snap a cheeseburger today. Do it. Yeah. Jared says, oh, I thought you meant Zelensky church. No, I hope I pronounced that correct. But no, it's not Zelensky church. That's funny. All right. Killer Cork says, Scott, my other box of material showed up today, so I'll get you a care package shipped out. Let's see. Oh, I missed a bunch of chat. Dang it. Let's see. Ferdo Joe says, Black Esopus. Some is great, glossy, but hard to find. But I might know where. Okay. That'd be useful. Esopus chert is pretty good. Yep. But I'm looking for, I've already found and spent money on stuff that I needed to get. So everything's covered now. But I could always use more black shirt because for some reason, once in a while, it comes around and I got to make a bunch of stuff. People like triple flow obsidian. They like jet black items and various heat treats. See, Jesse says, Jay had to leave the Vermont stone on your front porch, I think. Yeah, he left it on the front porch. Yep. It was late. He rolled through there, and it was when you were under the weather. Yeah, I was there. It's funny because all the lights, I don't have any lights on at night when I'm on the computer. I just turn off all the lights, and the only light on is the computer. So I was actually on the computer when he came by. Yeah, it's funny. But it was late. It was like after midnight. And he thought all the lights were off, which is okay. Stealth delivery. Yeah. And I went out to check on the skunks, and there it was, a box sitting there. I go, dang, sneaky. That was sneaky. Brendan says, if you have local quarries that load stone and such, you can give them a call and inquire about bull gravel and flint. At least ours you can. Yeah, in Texas you can do that. Jim says, I don't even have the option of landscape yards. All you get is the occasional piece of agate, jasper, opal, or petrified wood, and usually too beat up to use. Yeah, that is a problem. Scott says, I've been watching videos on Horse Creek. Looks so good. I can't wait, man. Yeah, Horse Creek's pretty good stuff. Beautiful colors. Let's see. Brennan says, my wife walks the cat a couple times a week in a little cat walker. People always look at her crazy. Yeah, what kind of cat walker? I don't think I've seen that. I mean, I've seen animals that have, you can strap on a set of wheels for their back legs. If they don't have back legs or they can't use their back legs, you can strap on this little thing that has wheels on it, and they can just move around with their front legs. But that's not what you're talking about. But that's what I imagined just then when you're talking about a cat walker. Jesse Garcia's here. Hello, hello. Let's see here. Alan Cole is flint-knapping his steak and eggs again. Ralph asks, Patrick, can Horse Creek chirp be napped raw? Yes, you can nap it raw. It's not that fun, though. Sal said, nobody answered me. I think, did Patrick get new boppers? Yeah. I just got this in the mail today from Mike Tufts, and I opened it on video. You missed it, Sal. You missed it. The best part of the whole live stream. Have I ever napped? Yeah, I've napped. I'm asking myself this question. I've napped Horse Creek chirp raw. It does nap raw, but it's much better when you heat treat it, I think. Sal says, I think I've been blocked. I don't think so. I can see your messages pretty well. I may have skipped some of them. If you have a question that I skipped, let me know. Jared says, just got to a movie theater and go toward wherever is being the loudest after the movie starts. I don't get it. Let's see. Talking about lures and baits. Bushy says, I made a Krylonite blue point, broke a flint ridge, super glue, and blue Krylon paint. Looks okay. Interesting. Killer Cork says, Ralph, I'll send you some. I have 2 cats. Had lots over the years, and a couple played fetch also. The male I have now likes to bring me the biggest chunks of the neighbor's mulch that he can find. Oh, dang. Let's see. Bill Hansen, can I get your address? Okay, who are you asking? If you want my email address, it's jackcrafty2@gmail.com. Jackcrafty, the number 2 at gmail.com. If you're asking me, Bill. Bren says it's a little stroller for the cat that zips shut. Carries 2 cats, comfy. Interesting. I never seen that. My daughter could use that. Her cat just had kittens. Let's see. All right, I'm going to start napping here in a little bit. It's already 7 Eastern time. What did I miss? Ralph says, super nice looking boppers, Patrick. Thanks, Mike. Yep, yeah. I missed if the boppers have different caps. Jesse and I think one looks like a brass and one is copper. No, they're both copper. The one that looks like brass probably just looks that way because of the heat that was used. Or Mike says this one's from China. Yeah, this one here. So it could be like a different alloy, but I think it's, he has to heat these up when he puts in the lead. But yeah, it could be the alloy, but they're both copper. Let's see. Let's see. I missed some things here. Yeah, I'm looking for questions. I'm not reading all the comments because I'm looking for questions. Let's see here. Mr. Crazy says, I got some Texas amoeba chert in today. Can't wait to make some points out of it this weekend. Where'd you get the amoeba chert? Did you order it off of Facebook? Off of somebody on Facebook? That's the only place I've seen the amoeba chert stuff. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna break into this large piece of chert, this road rock. See how it works. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna send Jim Cooper some large stuff, but I'm gonna wait. This one probably has cracks in it, so I'm just gonna nap it here on video. Okay, so let's start. So the first hour is all chat. The next hour is all nap. Yeah. So what I'm going to be doing on live streams, first hour is yap, second hour is nap. Yeah. Okay. We'll try the new Mike Tufts boppers. All right, we'll start abusing them right away. I got the fan on here because it's very hot. Ooh, that looks nice. So far. So far, so good on this side. So let's see. What is this? This is Texas chert. It's road rock that I picked up for free. Some of it's highly cracked. Some of it has issues. Like right here, I can see there's going to be some issues. But never know. Let's not ruin the good bopper yet. Let's just finish abusing the other older one. Yeah, this is raw chert, not heat treated. Someone in one of the other live streams said that the flakes sounded heat treated. I don't know if there's a sound for heat treat, or if you can tell, maybe. I don't think there's a difference in sound as far as that goes. This is going to be, I'm going to have to hit this super hard. Do I have a hammer? I didn't put my hammers in here. Dang it. All right. So forgive me if I don't get to the chat. I'm going to be napping. I'm going to check the chat in a little bit. Okay, so that answered that question. There was a natural crack in there. Yeah, natural seam. It looks a little bit like amoeba chert, but it's not. It's more translucent. It's a translucent chert. Can you see? You can see some of the translucency. See that? Amoeba chert is not translucent like that. It's not like this. Okay. Is this root beer stuff? No, it's not root beer. It's just Edwards Plateau chert. Yeah. Edwards Plateau chert comes in many varieties. And they all have little nicknames. And they also have geological names. And I don't care about any of that. Yeah. Not only do I not care, but I don't even want to know. And if you tell me what it is, I'll probably forget on purpose. Yeah. I've had too many experiences where people go looking for it and they try to do something with it and it doesn't do it. I looked for it. I found something like that, but I didn't do it. I feel sorry for them, right? But I wish I knew more about it sometimes. But even if I did, even if I was an expert on the rocks, they probably will still say the same thing. I looked for it and I found it, but I didn't do it. Okay. So I stopped. I stopped paying attention to the type of rocks. If it naps, it naps. If it doesn't, it doesn't. All right. And the way you find out is you just got to do it. And if it doesn't do it when you try to do it, then find something else. Yeah, move on. Make yourself a little crybaby sandwich and then move on. Yeah, the sandwich will make you feel better. And then you try another one piece. So what did I start out with as far as size? I don't know. I'm trying to make a biface, which means I'm going to have a bunch of crud flakes, but that's okay. 6 inches. All right, you can't see, but it's 6 inches. It started like, I don't know, 8 inches or what was it, 7? No. Well, I don't know. I can't remember. I did measure that piece. I think it was 7 to begin with. Measured it on a different live stream. We're getting down to nitty gritty, but see, it's got issues like right there. See that? Okay. Right there. See those issues? If I don't remove that, I will need some tissues. Yeah, because it'll mess me all up. Some people will just go, I wish I could find free stone like that. That would be like heaven. Well, it doesn't nap all that great most of the time. And then you'll say, well, if it just naps better than 0, I would be in heaven. Yeah. Maybe. If all you can find is a bunch of 0 stone, yeah, I suppose. On a scale of 1 to 10, there are stones that are at 0 that people try to nap. And surprisingly, they get stuff that, you can nap stuff that, hardly anyone would touch. And you can, get lucky and get a flake from it and then nap around the edges and then make something out of something that, make an arrowhead out of stone that no one would be wanting to get anywhere near. So yeah, if you're in that boat, anything nappable is heaven. Yeah. But you got to get out of that rut. Yeah. That's not a place to be. It's not a good place to be. I'm encountering some concrete inside. Right there. It's all concretey. As it approaches that part, see, I was trying to nap through there, and it was all concretey. But yeah, it's better than zero. Yep. What's really going to determine the quality of this is when I start getting it thin. Yeah. I took a bunch of length off just then because there was a crack in there. There's no way I'm going to be dealing with cracks. So if I see one, I'll just blast through there. This is a 14-ounce bopper. Lead-filled copper with a wooden handle. This is raw Texas chert from the Edwards Plateau. Many different varieties of this stuff. Every piece is different. Well, generally speaking, it's the same, but when you get down to knapping it, it's all different because the subtleties make all the difference when you get down to thinning it. Yeah, when you try to take turtlebacks off and try to thin it, some areas are cooperative and some areas on the stone are not, and you never can tell. And if I show you what I'm doing and you try to copy it, you're going to be ending up saying stuff like, I tried to do it like you did it and I didn't do it. I tried to do it like you did it. How did you do it? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how I did it. It's a miracle. It's abracadabra, hocus pocus. Yeah, that's what it is. I'll check the chat in a minute. Well, that was nice. That was cooperative. It was nice of the stone to cooperate like that. I was a little worried that I wouldn't be able to thin that down. Okay. Yikes. Got some flakes in my mouth that time. Everything's going good. We got 38 people. I don't see any breaks in the video stream as far as the choppiness of the video, right? Last time the video was all choppy in the second hour. I need that fan. For some reason, well, I got to get the AC checked. But for some reason today, it's either extra humid or something. Anyway, maybe I'm just getting nervous because it's a big piece. I start out with a fairly good-sized piece of chert. It's quickly becoming quite small by comparison. And I'm getting a lot of crud flakes, which means the stuff I don't normally use. You know, crud flakes that are kind of warped and small. I mean, they can be used, but it takes patience, and you've got to put up with the fact that they're going to be less than an inch long arrowheads. Some people just go, no, don't deal with it. And that's why I call them crud flakes, because most of the time no one deals with those, including myself. But that one's not too bad. Yeah. See that? If I can get a bunch of them like that, they'd be better. I mean, it is curved, but it's wide, and I've got options as to how I could nap this. Yeah, it's large enough to give me some options. People say I should support the workpiece, but I'm using the mass of the workpiece against itself. If I support it, I could feel all the shock, right? For one. And number two, I've got to hold it more steady. I mean, I've got to actually put more effort into it. If I hit fast and snappy, I use the mass of the workpiece against itself. I got to keep saying that because many people don't understand how I nap out here freehand without support. And like I said, I use the mass of the workpiece against itself by hitting in a snappy sort of fast way. So the flake comes off before the workpiece knows what's happening, is the way I like to say it. So it doesn't need support. And you might say, well, it needs support so the flakes won't break up. Well, if the flakes are going to break up and they need to be babied and supported, what's it going to be like when I start thinning it? It's going to be very snap and halfish, and I'm not going to have it in my brain to watch out for that because I'm supporting it and babying it. It's going to snap on me, but by surprise. Yeah. So what good is that? A waste of time. If it's going to snap in half or be delicate, I want to know up front. So this can tell me if it's going to be like that. Because I don't support any of the flakes as far as trying to keep it together. If it breaks in half and stuff while I'm doing this, good. Then I know this stuff is snapping halfish, as I like to say. And I'll prepare myself for the snap and halfish quality of the stone, which means I leave it thicker. I don't thin it way down like I would probably try to do otherwise. So I'm being very careful as to what I'm trying to remove as far as thinning flakes at this stage. It doesn't feel like it's snapping halfish, but just the lack of accuracy, because I'm not using indirect percussion, the lack of accuracy can goof things up. If I make a mistake with, I hit too high up on the surface, I could snap it in half because it pulls too much, or it just bends it too much. So I've got to be careful. But there's still a couple of places hit on this thing that I can hit and remove some thinning flakes before I can switch over to indirect percussion. So this is stage one, where that's the easy part. Now comes the harder part, or the sweat stage. One of Mike Tuft's new boppers that he just sent me. It feels like a 9-ounce. There's no ounces written on there. I don't have my scale either. I'm guessing. There it is. I like those. Okay, so that's one that I saw I could remove. There's another one here. Two more I could potentially remove that look like that one. Although it probably is too dicey. Just because of the accuracy. And I use my elbows and my forearms are on my legs. That's how I maintain my accuracy when I'm doing it freehand. Same as if I was napping on my leg on a pad. I'd still have my elbow here and judge the distance and move my elbow as required, or move my leg, or both, to keep the same distance, but I do that when I'm doing freehand as well. All right, let's see. This is one reason why I don't nap in the house very much, because this is creating a bunch of dust. I'm in my house right now, yeah. There's a layer of dust on everything in my, this is my shipping room, basically. After napping in here for a few weeks, or however long it's been since I've been doing live streams in here, there's an accumulation of dust from the grinding, from the abrading. And yeah, I mean, the napping produces dust too, but most of it's from the abrading. Yeah, these flakes are cooperating. Yes, yes. See that? All right. Yeah, those are dicey, because if I'm not accurate with those, it breaks the piece. It breaks the workpiece. I'm very close to breaking the workpiece every time I hit it at this stage. And the accuracy determines how successful I am. And when I start getting stuff like that, step fracture, that kind of step fracture, I had to say, no, that's it. I got to switch over to indirect percussion now that it's getting that thin. I could probably still do a little bit more with percussion, but why chance it? With direct percussion, yeah, why take a chance? Switch over to something more accurate. And I'll check the chat in a minute. If you have questions, I'll try to look back and see what questions you have. But I'm going to start doing this every live stream. In the second hour, I'll be doing mainly napping. Well, let's say I'll do chat or yap the first hour, and then nap for 45 minutes, and then wrap up in the last 15 minutes with checking the chat. Okay. So I'm going to nap for another 20 minutes, and then I'll check the chat. And hopefully you can see, and the video quality is okay. If you just tuned in, this is Texas Edwards Plateau chert. I don't know what variety it is, except for it's translucent. Yeah, it's fantabulously translucent. Yeah. What type of chert is it? Fantabulously translucent chert. Yeah. Is that a type of chert? Yeah. You can call it whatever you want. I guarantee the Texas Indians had different names for this than we have. And they probably called it something like that too. Oh, you know the fantabulous stuff? Yeah, I know the fantabulous stuff. I know where you find that. I know that quarry. It's called the Fantabulous Quarry. You get fantabulous chert from the Fantabulous Quarry. Yay, he knows. Everyone agree? Yeah. See, everyone was happy back in the day when they said stuff like that. So why can't we be happy like that? Yeah. We got to make things so complicated these days. So what am I doing now? It's called brushing. I don't know if that's what everybody calls it. But I'm knocking off all the weak areas, because indirect percussion that I'm going to start using here in a minute focuses a lot of energy in small areas, and those areas have to be solid and strong in order for it to not crush when I hit it, because it's going to be percussion work. I'm going to be hitting it. You don't want it to crush because then the flakes don't travel. It just stops right there. You want flakes to travel like I just showed you. Like these, I saved these flakes so you can see. These are sweat stage flakes. Okay. All these flakes came off after the initial thinning. Okay. Now, archaeologists many times will think that these kinds of flakes come off in the beginning stages before the thinning stage. But the way I do it, these flakes come off at the beginning of the thinning stage, not at the beginning of the bifacing stage. The beginning of the bifacing stage for me looks more like this, these thick ones. Okay? A lot of people don't care about that stuff, but some of you guys read the archaeological studies and they'll come up with stuff like that. They'll look at the size of flakes and they'll say, well, we could determine what stage they were removed just by the size of the flakes. Yeah, if you want to be stupid. Yeah. And I'm not afraid to say that because I've read a ton of studies, and I know what they say in the studies. And they think they know what's going on, but they're not nappers. Some of them are, and they're getting better. Yes, they're getting into experimental archaeology, and they're actually becoming nappers and getting better at the archaeology. Yes, but it's at a snail's pace. Artist Breaks Rock's here. Artist Breaks Rock is here. Who else is here that I missed? Damon Crowfeather, what's up? I'm not checking the chat right now. See, the second hour is when I start napping. What are your thoughts on ChatGPT causing people to lose their mind? Well, I think people have already lost their mind before ChatGPT, and it influences ChatGPT to make the ChatGPT lose its mind. I subscribe to X Twitter, right? So I've got Grok, and yeah, all the chat and all the insane people online have corrupted Grok. Yeah, so it's the other way around. The chat doesn't make people crazy. It's all the crazy people that makes the ChatGPT insane. And Grok is a little bit better than ChatGPT, but it's still, you can tell that Grok is influenced by the insanity. And on top of that, they tend to dumb it down every now and then. It loses quality. It starts to get really good, and then it starts getting stupid again. And I think they do it on purpose so that, Grok won't solve all the problems in the world and leave everyone without jobs. Yeah. Doesn't seem right, but I think that's the way it's going to be going with AI. AI gets really smart really fast, and it can start solving major problems. But if it's going to start solving these major problems for free, why do we pay all these other people thousands of dollars every week to solve these problems when we don't need to? Yeah, so they dumb it down. They dumb down the AI periodically. Of course, that's my opinion, but I use AI, and I chat with Grok almost every day so I can see what is going on. Why do I chat with Grok every day or almost every day? Because that's where I get my news. I can't get it from just searching online. I have to ask Grok questions about this and that. And I follow the Supreme Court decisions and stuff like that. And weather patterns and all that stuff. So it's better just to ask questions instead of looking at all the hype. And everything online now is hype. If you just do searches. Now, asking AI a question is almost like a search, but it's a little bit more informed than that, because you can interact with AI and say, no, this is not, you're not following a logical pattern or logical progression here. And I can tell when it's picking up the current political atmosphere in its answers. And it'll say, oh, yeah, okay, you're right about that. I'm picking up on blah, blah, blah. And it tries again, and it'll get it. It'll get to the issues eventually, to the relevant issues. So AI is a little bit better than the news because it's more interactive instead of just reading. You know, you have to accept. In the old time news, you don't have a choice. You can't interact with the newspaper, but now you can. Yeah. Yeah, one of the things that you can't rely on as far as looking at the news is topics like tariffs and topics like Second Amendment issues, and stuff that's highly politicized. You can't just do a search. You got to ask questions and then say, no, that's not. You're not following a logical progression, or you're drawing on current internet chat and banter and trends, and even bot activity that just posts thousands of posts with basically the same dialogue, and then chat GPT or Grok picks up the dialogue from these thousands of bots and thinks that's what people are actually saying, but it's not. It's what the bots are promoting or flooding the internet to establish a certain narrative. And you can catch it sometimes by just looking to see if it makes sense, or analyzing it, see if it makes sense. What's good is that now AI can show you the sources. Yeah. It's getting better at sourcing. And then you go, oh, that's your source? Dang it. No wonder you're all messed up. No wonder it doesn't make any sense. No wonder that's a kindergarten 5-year-old view. Like, you don't need to explain it to me like I'm 5, because, you know, I'll get the kindergarten explanation. I'll understand it as much as a 5-year-old can understand it. I don't want that type of answer. Like in Flintknapping, if I were to explain this to you like you were 5, then you would be napping like a 5-year-old if you took my advice. Yeah. I used to try to do that, to make it as simple as possible to understand, but then sometimes it backfires. I did it like you said, and it seemed easy, but I can't do it. You know, I can tell people how to do that. Skin off those flakes in a simple way. Right? And a simple explanation, but you won't get it. It's an advanced technique. thinning is an advanced technique. All thinning is advanced technique. And if you can thin without a lot of practice, that means you've got some luck going on. If you manage to thin something and you don't have much experience, it's a lot of it's luck. And you'll find that you can't keep up your streak of luck. You'll tell me, I used to be able to do it, now it doesn't do it. It's because you had a streak of good luck there. Yeah. The small differences or the subtle differences make all the difference. I'm using basically the same techniques for everything. And it can yield cruddy results or excellent results, and looks almost exactly the same. And I can mess this up using the same exact technique, and you won't even know the difference. You won't be able to see the difference in the angles, in the strikes, in the way I position the workpiece, in the edges. It's all the same, but I can do something that's a little bit wrong as far as what I want to do, and it'll mess it up. But you can't see it. It's just a subtle difference, almost imperceptible. I'm starting to get step fracturing. As it gets thinner, you get these little hairline or fingernail step fractures because the flakes are getting thinner and they're not able to travel as far because they're not very strong when they're thin. Yeah. And that means I got to make it more narrow if I want to start getting rid of those, because the flakes are not strong enough to go as far as I want. Now, as I increase in skill, I can make those subtle changes that make the flakes go further, but they're almost imperceptible changes. You won't be able to see it on the video or know what changes, because I can barely know what they are. It just feels a little bit different, just slightly different. There's no big eureka moment between the previous flakes and these flakes that I just took off. They're basically the same, except I'm damage controlling, so I'm hitting flakes in a more focused place rather than in, flaking kind of in general. I just want to thin it. Damage control is more precise, but the difference is very, very subtle. I think I'm going to stop so I don't push my luck. See, I've gotten rid of most of the step fracturing on the surface of both sides. And that's vital if I want to continue with the longer flakes. But at this stage, I've got some options. I can either stop now and sharpen it, and it'll be just fine for a reproduction. Put notches or, put a stem on it or whatever. It doesn't need to be thinner than this to do a reproduction of a real point. Or I can go more narrow and make it even thinner and more uniform and go for something like a Scotch Bluff. Right? So I've got options. The smart thing for me to do is just stop at this thickness and then sharpen it and make a reproduction of a Castroville or something of this size in the archaeological record, or just leave it as a leaf-shaped blade and haft it as a knife. Yeah. I can also take it down on the sides, make the sides parallel, what they call parallel sides, and make a lanceolate point, and then maybe try to run some thinning flakes that look like short flutes and make a clovis. Clovises don't need long flutes. You can make short fluted clovis. Why short flutes? Because it's safer than making the long flute that could dive and snap the whole thing in half, as an example. And you got to keep in mind that the longer the flake, the more force you use. So even if it doesn't dive, you can still break it in half because of the amount of force you need. You can brace the sides and everything and make a jig to hold it, to make the flutes and all that. Perfectly fine. There's all kinds of ways to do flutes on Clovis stuff, but I recommend you being thicker than this for a Clovis, for one. And number two, it's not mandatory that you do long flakes unless you really, really want to do the long flutes. Like if you can't stand it, if it looks terrible, I hate Clovis with short flutes. I hate it. It makes me want to hurl. Okay, fine. If it makes you want to hurl, then you can make the longer flakes, but start thicker. I had someone ask me about that. What's the secret, man? Thick. Leave it thick, and then you can run longer flutes. But then they say, yeah, but I don't want a thick Clovis. I want thin and long flutes and straight and perfect sharpening and material that's nice and pretty. Yeah. All those together requires many years of skill unless you're blessed. Some people don't have much trouble doing it. And they'll have jigs and stuff too to help them out, where they use like a Solberger jig to do the fluting. Solberger jigs, yeah. As an example, there are other names for the jigs, I think. Tony Soares has jigs that he uses for his Folsoms and stuff. I'm not sure if he calls that a Solsberger. Whatever. We don't need to know the names of it. You just need to look up. I think you can find it by typing in Clovis fluted with jigs or with a jig. Clovis point fluted with a jig, and you'll find videos on it. Okay, let's go to the chat. I'm done with my napping for today on the live stream. I got it to this point. Let's see what the ratio is. The ratio? What's the ratio? It's the width to thickness ratio. Usually I stop at 5-1 or 6-1, right? Let's see what this is. I'm going to measure it in millimeters because that's easiest. This is like 60 millimeter by 9 millimeter. Yeah. What is that? 6-1? Let's just say 6-1. Good enough. Yeah. It's good enough for like a Castroville or something, or a Paternalis, or some other type of point of that size. How do I know where to find it? I have books on this stuff, but if you look in the Overstreet guide, it'll give you the easiest reference. That's the easiest reference guide for points is the Overstreet guide of Native American arrowheads. Yeah, and you can buy older editions. They're just as good as the newer editions, but they don't cost as much. Make sure you don't spend a lot of money on the Overstreet guide. There's a lot of scams out there. And then you can look up, you just turn pages and see and match up your preforms to what's in the book. And you can say, hey, I can make this because it's this size. I don't have to waste too much more of this. Just need to sharpen it and put the notches in and we're done. Yeah. Okay, is that it? I'm keeping my files separate now. Don't let me forget, because I'll put my files in my napping bag, and it'll take me forever to find them when I need them. So I've been keeping them separate. All right. Let's see. What did I miss? I've seen the chat go crazy. We've got 15 minutes. Put your questions, comments, and complaints in the chat. Everyone who wants to see napping, you can leave because I'm not going to be napping from now until the end of the live stream. That's it. I already finished the napping for this live stream. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Somebody naps with frozen corn dogs. Frozen corn dogs. Kyle Ledbetter is here. Do it. Prairie Dog Ken or Prairie Ghost Ken. I'd love to hear your book suggestions, Pat. I want to learn more about types of points and blades, etc. Okay. My book suggestions, number 1 is the Overstreet Guide. Number 2 is that figures. I don't have my books. I brought them into the shop. Number 2 is the Big Red Book from Texas. It's Texas Native American Indian stuff. What is it? I don't know. Someone could put a list of books. Maybe Red Eyed Patriot, if he's still there. What is it called? Projectile Points of Native American Indians. I don't know. Anyway, my suggestion usually boils down to one book, and it's the Overstreet Guide, and I call it the Oracle. Okay, that's basically the only thing you need as a napper. Now, if you want to do some deep research into doing reproductions, then you need to look at different studies. A lot of books that are good for napping, as far as useful to us nappers, are out of print, unfortunately. Like the Noel Justice books. I think Noel D. Justice. Hold on a second. I got those books handy. Okay, hold on a second. You cannot find these in hardcover, or this is not hardcover, but everyone asks me, where do you get these books? These are no longer in print, and they're some of the best books ever published for flint nappers. They're supposed to be for archaeologists as well, but for flint nappers, they're extremely useful. Okay, and because these are actual size. And they show side views and cross sections. See that? But you can only get these in Kindle form or something these days. And what is it? Stone Age spear and arrow points of the southwestern United States. I think it's Noel D. Justice. Okay, you can see it better on this one. This is Stone Age spear and arrow points of California and the Great Basin by Noel D. Justice. Noel D. Justice. That's the author. He doesn't make books anymore, but these are some of the best books that you can have, if you can find them. Okay? This one might still be in print. Stone Age Spear and Arrow Points of the Mid-Continental and Eastern United States. He's only got 3 books like this. He didn't do one on Texas because Texas is all screwed up anyway. It's probably why he quit writing the books, because he encountered Texas and went, no more. Okay? These analyze these various points, and it has maps of their distribution and stuff. And it has categories like the distribution, the introduction, the age, and the cultural affiliation, morphological correlates, and he groups these into clusters. All right. So, like, say Cumberland, right? He groups them into clusters, right? And he discusses which ones are in the cluster. And this one is Cumberland here. And then he goes into there's an introduction at first. That's like a definition of what Cumberland is, and then age and cultural affiliation, and then distribution, and it shows you a map. Okay. And then at the end of the explanation, it'll show morphological correlates, which means similar ones, and then full size sketches with cross sections. And down here is the scale. Now, is it full size? Let me see. Maybe not. Is that okay? If that's 30 millimeters, then it is full scale. I'm going to measure here. I've got millimeters on my tape measure. Let's see if that's a full scale. I think it is. If not, I've been looking at this all wrong. Yeah, it's just slightly larger than, very slightly larger than full scale. But pretty much you can just put up your preform to this and then build your reproductions according to this, just by placing them on the book. Okay, but the Overstreet guide lets you do that too, but it doesn't go into the same academic rigor that these books have. Okay, these are academic books. That's my second choice, Noel D. Justice, after the Overstreet guide. Everything else is just in one big basket, so it doesn't really matter after that. There's another book by William Ritchie. Do I have that one here? Yeah, also excellent book, Out of Print, by William Ritchie. And it follows the same format as Noel D. Justice. In fact, I think Noel Justice copied William Ritchie. This book is much older. William Ritchie also includes other types of artifacts along with the stone. Like these are bone artifacts along with the stone in this particular case here. And it's pretty common in the book where you find other related artifacts that are not stone and stuff that is stone but not points. So again, this has academic rigor. What is rigor? What does that mean? It has academic standards. Yeah, academic standards. Actually, the real academic standards. So that book also, The Archaeology of New York State. Excellent book, no longer in print. All right. Let's see, where am I? Okay, the end of the chat. They're all gone now. It has academic stiffness. Yeah, academic stiffness, rigor mortis. Kyle Ledbetter says, I got sources. Trolley won't pay a dime, but I'll definitely be ready as I've been. It's hard to find real literature on these things. If you become a member of academia, there's some good studies that'll be presented on academia every now and then. Academia. It's a website. JSTOR has a lot of studies on it. JSTOR. But you have to pay for those. If you got money, if you're retired and you don't know what to do with your money, just go on JSTOR and buy all the studies that you can. Ferdo Joe says, William Ritchie excavated all the old sites around me with two of my old friends. Wow. Can't get any better than that. We got somebody who knows here. They're all gone now, yeah. So let's see. Copyright. When was this written? 1980 on the William Ritchie books. First copyrights 1965, 69, and 1980. All right, so this is old. This one here, you might still be able to get that on Amazon, right? If you can, for a good price, I recommend buying it. just so you can, as if you are serious about this, you can do your own research, make your own sketches, and write your notes in the same format, and you'll be way further ahead than most other nappers if you do that. Okay, copyright on this one is 1987. Yeah. And believe it or not, archaeology has not come that far since then. 2002 is the copyright on this one, on the southwestern U.S. Let's see. Same with this, 2002, on the Californian Great Basin. Yeah. And then the Overstreet Guide, I have it in my shop, so I can't show you that, but you know what that is. Mike Mason says, imagine what all context has been lost due to the materials that weren't stone. Oh, yeah. True. Artist Breaks Rock. The green one is priced really high. Wow. Yeah, it is. Peter Cohen says, I got academic rigor when I saw the college girls. Oh, goodness gracious. I got academic. Okay. The reason why I laugh is because if my kids are watching, they're going to go, Dad, what kind of people are watching your videos? Mm-hmm. Let's see. Kyle says, thanks. Working a dog with three little. First, they love you lots. They say you remind them of their great granddad. Let's see here. Hemingway, 953. I napped with Roberto Villarreal in San Angelo in his garage. He had wonderful things to say about you, buddy. Cheers from Santa Rosa, California. You're friends with Roberto? Awesome. Did you go back in the back patio where he's got his chimenea and you can sit around and chat out back? Yeah, that was fun. He's got a pool in his backyard, and he's got a little chimenea with the little patio furniture and stuff. And the garage is a nice place too. I filmed several videos in Roberto's garage. I'm going to go see those guys this fall. Bushy says, I'm outside and it's dark and you can't see the keyboard. It's not that dark here. Let's see. Ones that can make their dad snort. Yeah, the people that are subscribed to my channel are the kind that make their dad snort on live YouTube. Jim. Peter says, sorry, kids. Some of us are uncouth, weirdo motorcyclists in New Orleans. Or New Orleans. Yeah. The secret is out. Ralph says, University of Michigan has books on many archaeological sites, including the Holcomb Clovis site, Wolf site, and the Canadian Clovis site. Thedford, too. A bunch of misfits we are to Patrick's kids that are watching. Yeah. Hemingway says, his lovely wife made terrific Mexican food for us. Oh, yeah. She's a great cook. Yeah. See, they know that I only eat meats these days, so they'll make stuff without all the vegetables and carbohydrates. I'll still eat some of the vegetables and stuff, especially the salsa and all that, and some of that. Some of the other veggies. Anyway, let me see. What did I miss? I watched a video on the Holcomb Clovis site recently. Very cool. Jim says, I found flint in downtown New Orleans on the levee right off Jackson Square. Oh, dang. Hemingway says, okay, so when you do heat treat flint, what temperature am I aiming for? Will 450 degrees do it? Yeah, sometimes. 450 degrees Fahrenheit is too hot in many cases. The average is 400 degrees. And scientific studies have proven that most stone that responds to heat treat will respond at 400 degrees after only 1 hour. Okay, so anything over 1 hour at 400 degrees, and I think they were testing flakes and not big nodules, okay, is the rule if you want averages. Now, a lot of Texas stuff is going to get ruined at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. You need to start heating it as an experiment at 350 degrees for your first try, as an example. Believe it or not, some of the darker Edwards Plateau cherts are going to heat treat well at 300 degrees Fahrenheit or even at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. Believe it or not, they'll get slick at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. So when I do my videos on heat treating, I always tell people to start low. Start at, if you don't know anything about heat treating, heat your first batch at 275 degrees Fahrenheit for 4 hours or maybe 2 hours. If they're thin flakes like this, they'll heat treat in 2 hours. Okay. There's a process before heat treating where you dry out the stone. Stone should be pretty dry before you heat treat to avoid steam and the action of too much water within the stone. It can break the stone just by having too much water in it when you heat it. So you dry it out. You can either dry it out in the sun or outdoors or inside your house for weeks or months, or you can put it in the turkey roaster or the oven at 200 degrees for 24 hours or 48 hours, whatever you think. Now, there's a scientific way to do this. You can heat and weigh, heat and weigh, heat at 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and then weigh it. If it's not losing weight, it's already dry. But if it's losing weight, you got to heat and weigh and heat and weigh until it doesn't change. And when I say heat, that's 200 degrees for 24 hours. Then you weigh it. Then you heat it 200 degrees for 24 hours and you weigh it. If you want to be scientific about it. Some people don't have that kind of patience. And what they'll do is they'll just follow my general formula. Take it out of the river, break it up into pieces, stick it in a turkey roaster for 48 hours at 200 degrees to burn all the water out. And then you can ramp it up to 275 and cook it there for 4 hours. Turn it off. Let it set. Let it cool down. Don't open the lid. Let it cool off slowly. Take it out and start napping it. If it naps good, don't take any chances on napping, on heating it more. The stone will not get hurt if you heat it many, many times. That's not the problem. Problem is it may end up breaking. Brian Olson says, what you working on, Pat? Just got here. You're going to have to watch the live stream again. I made this on video just now out of a big chunk. Okay, started out at 6 inches. The big chunk was 7 inches. And then I napped it and broke off, 25% of the big chunk. And it got smaller. And I ended up with 4.5 inches. Okay, so it started at 7 for the whole chunk. I broke part of it off, and I ended up with, after napping that down, a 6-inch piece, and then after napping the 6-inch piece down to a thin 5-face, 6-to-1, it's 4.5 inches. What is the material? It's nappable material. Nappable. That's all you need to know. It's raw and not heat treated. But I'll tell you, it's Texas Edwards Plateau chert. Yeah. I'll tell you that much. You'll have to watch the live stream. What I'm going to do on live streams now is I'll chat for the first hour, or I'll watch the chat for the first hour, nap for 45 minutes, and then wrap it up. in the last 15 to 20 minutes. Okay. I'm still trying to wrap it up. I'm going over my time, but it's okay. But yeah, Brian, I've got your thanks for the latest packages. They're awesome. Let's see. Jim says Novaculite needs way hotter than 400 degrees, I think. It needs nearly double that, if I remember right. Mookite too. Yeah. Novaculite, ask Danny Collins. He knows how to heat treat Novaculite perfectly. I think it's 650 degrees Fahrenheit for like 12 hours. That stuff needs to soak. In the Flintknapper community, when we heat treat for long periods of time, we call it a soak. So Novaculite is one of those things that needs to be soaked, apparently. Now, I never heat treat it. When I get it, it's either heat treated or raw, and I'll just nap it that way. I don't have a means to heat treat anything above 450 degrees or maybe 500 degrees because I'm just using a turkey roaster or a house oven. But you can buy a kiln or get a kiln for pottery, and you can heat treat 600, 700 degrees, which is sometimes what Novaculite needs. Fahrenheit. I have to always say Fahrenheit because there's always someone watching in Europe going, wow, 400 degrees Celsius is pretty darn hot. I don't know if my turkey roaster goes up to that much. No, we're talking Fahrenheit. Okay. Mike Mixon says, no, how about statin around 300, but multiple heats for a couple to 4 hours at a time? Will that depreciate? I don't know what that means. Staying, not statin. You stay around 300, but multiple heats for a couple to 4 hours at a time. Multiple heats does not wear down the rock or make it more glossy with multiple heats. The rock will be the same. At the same temperature, under the same conditions, it just remains the same. No matter how many times you do it. How do I know? I've tried it before. Many times I've tried double heating. It doesn't do anything. And I did it a lot of times just because I'll cook a big batch of a bunch of stuff and I'll nap a bunch of it. And some of it's good, some of it's and I'll just heat the whole thing again at the same temperature and say maybe some of that didn't get to this other rock, and I'd mix it up before the second heat treat, and it ends up being the same. And then I take some of it out and I cook some of it again, maybe a little bit hotter. The change in the heat affects the stone, but if you leave it the same, it doesn't affect it. And I haven't noticed any benefit to heating it the same multiple times. It doesn't get better after multiple times at the same temperature. But changing the temperature does affect the stone. Let's see here. Let's see here. Mike Mason says, was driving for, can I heat treat too many times even if at the right temperature? No, you can heat treat it as many times as you want. It doesn't bother the stone. If it's the same temperature. Even if you raise it, as long as it's within its tolerance, you can do that many, many times. I've had batches where I've heat treated it many, many times and soaked it for hours and hours and hours, and same results basically. Bethany Durant is here. Hello, we're past the time. I'm going over the time because I'm chatting too much. But yeah, the live stream is supposed to be over already. Mike Mason asks, I have to wonder, I once ordered Novaculite from a site called Dan's Whetstone, was pretty good raw. That was in 04 or 05. Would that have been Danny Collins? I don't think so. Dan's Whetstone? I don't think so. I don't know. Gonna have to ask Danny. Yeah, Scott Lauer knows. He napped some of that Danny Collins heat treat Novaculite. It's awesome stuff. Get your bids in. Yeah, let me check the auction. There's an auction going on right now. It's not a live auction. What you do is just bid in the comment section. You just bid in the comment section. That's what yous do. And I put a like if I see your comment or your bid. Your bids are your comments, and your comments are your bids. I've got 5 items this week. That's like the minimum. I've been trying to catch up with back orders, so I've not been doing many videos or many points lately for the auction. So I'm going to put a like on all the bids that I see. That way, you know that I see the bids. Why is that important? Because a lot of times I've had bad luck with YouTube where not everyone can see the bids. And not even I can see the bids sometimes. Oh, dang. Marty has got the high bid on the box of Brooks Flakes and Bifaces. I think he's going to win that one. Let's see. Anyway, I've gone through all of them. I think I've put a like on every bid that I see. If you don't have a like on your bid, that means I didn't see it. Okay? Hold on. I got some I didn't check off or I didn't like yet. All right. So just make sure you have a like on your bid. If you don't, then you can try some other way to, or on someone else's computer or phone to try to bid. See if that works. Hey, Mike Tuff, super chat, $5. Who else? Someone else? 5. I got 2. Let's see. Hold on. I got 2 super chats. Another $5 from Jeremy. So Jeremy and Mike, $5 super chats. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, I can reply to super chats. Let's see. I can reply to super chats. Let's see if that works. That super chat is no longer available for discussion. Oh, man. Sometimes I like YouTube. Sometimes YouTube is extremely lame. How about this one? Can I respond to that one? Let's see. Yes, I can. That one didn't expire. Okay. All right. The next live stream is Wednesday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to wrap it up here. If I missed your comment or your question, I apologize. Next live stream is Wednesday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. TJ's new life is here. Good morning, America. Yeah. I'm going to end the live stream, TJ. Was your entrance earlier? Let me look back. I missed a lot of chat, you guys. Yeah, if I'm looking for questions. Mike asks, have you ever had turtle meat? Once, yes. I don't remember. This was when I was little. Someone gave me a little drumstick, a turtle drumstick. I can't remember how it tastes. So I've had it once. I can't lie and say, no, I've never had it. But I don't remember how it tastes. Jeremy says, what's up, happy nappers? This was at 8 p.m. Why do you guys show up after the live stream's over? It's fun just to stay late on the live stream to see how many people actually show up when it's supposed to be over. Yeah. Okay, so I didn't see any questions. Luckily, or hopefully, I didn't miss any of the questions that you guys might want to be answered. Yeah. I've got a nap-in list that I need to update. I am going to do it this week. What I'm going to do is limit the number of regular videos. I'll be doing the live streams for sure, but the regular videos I'm going to cut back so I can catch up with back orders and do stuff like update the Knapping list and that kind of thing for the rest of July, let's say, because today is the last day in June. All of July, I'm going to be cutting back on the regular videos and focusing only on live streams and trying to catch up with all my back orders. I just spent a lot of money on stone. I bought a bunch of stone. I'm probably going to order some more from Danny Collins and stuff, and from Jeff Head. I've got people that I order from. Coshocton. Somebody offered me some Coshocton. That would be awesome. Hemingway says, is it preferable to spall the rock down before and to a biface before you heat treat it? Yes. It's preferable. The thinner, the better. That way, you reduce the risk of it breaking. The thicker it is, the more risky it is to heat treat. The rule for me is nothing over an inch thick. Don't heat treat anything more than an inch thick. And if you can heat treat flakes and spalls and bifaces, that's better. But just keep in mind that a biface is going to be totally different after you heat treat it than what you remember it being before the heat treat. So you've got to tiptoe through the tulips after you take it out of the heat treat, because it's going to be very different if the heat treat worked. Okay. I'm only down. See, there was still a lot of people on the chat. All right. I am going to end the chat here, or end the live stream. And let's see, is Wednesday going to be 4th of July or no? No, 2nd of July is Wednesday. 4th of July is Friday. I will be doing a live stream on the 4th of July Friday. Yeah, because here we don't have fireworks on the 4th of July. In this town, it's on the next town over, but I'm not going over there. I'll be doing live stream here. Okay. Yeah, happy Independence Day. If I don't see you. See you Wednesday. Good to see everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.